Journal entry. Journal entry. I just spent a bunch of time mapping out and making sure that I can get to a music class I was invited to. I was looking forward to going to this music class, and it's almost 5 miles away, and I've never been there. And I'm on a bike, and I don't have a cell phone. And my good. of all, what is today? Today is Tuesday, January 13th. And I forgot a few things yesterday. So yesterday, these witches and warlocks cast spells on me like all day and night. It's like their full-time job. And I'm going to make a separate video on this. Like the Kingdom of Darkness, like the devil, I don't know what's going on, if like head devils are even there. I think the head devils are gone, and then the lower level devils are just left to try to govern themselves. I don't know. Whatever it is, they are broke, they are poor, they are not provided for, they eat at the soup kitchen, they stay in the library during the day, or they're homeless, or they build like shacks on abandoned, or they live in abandoned houses. This is the witches and warlocks, okay? This is what they do. Most of them don't even have bikes. I mean, I guess some do, but they just hang out in the library because there's heat, and they don't have things like computers at their houses if they have a house. I mean, this is how the devil takes care of their own. They don't. They rely on public assistance. But anyways, yesterday, there was a lot of people, like, mooning me and, like, showing their body parts. And I've noticed this occasionally. I know this is spiritual warfare. I've been going to the gym for more than a year. Most of the time, this never happens. There's rooms you can go in and change, too. So, and I don't look at it, but when I notice, somebody, like, just standing there in my line of sight, with their breasts out or with their ass hanging out, this is on purpose, and they know when I'm coming through. So I don't know if this is a humiliation ritual. I already said I'm not a lesbian, so I think maybe they do spells and like, here, look at this. Are you sure you're not a lesbian? No, I'm still not a lesbian. Okay, I could look at myself if I wanted to. This is ridiculous. So normally you don't see anyone naked at the gym at all. Like, they will go to the changing room and change clothes, or they'll go to the big handicap bathroom and change in there. But like yesterday at the gym, there was like 2 or 3 women. They were just like, stuff hanging out, and then I don't understand. And then at the church service at the end, when I came in, I should have already left, but I didn't. But then when I came in that room, just kind of say goodbye or see what was going on, then one of the women, the woman that had invited me, was actually leaning over and praying, and her ass was hanging out like a plumber's butt crack. Okay, and like, if this is an accident, that's fine. But they do this to me on purpose. A guy did this a few weeks ago. One of the charity plumber that came to my house, that was a narcissist, did this. They do it on purpose. Is this a humiliation ritual? Like, I'm mooning you? Like, I haven't seen this before? Like, I even care? I don't understand. So, but then also, there was so much witchcraft being used, and none of it worked. There were a bunch of cars. Like, I was staying on the sidewalk most of the day. Like, it was kind of sunnier. So, I was biking pretty fast on the sidewalk. And then cars kept pulling out, like, right in front of me. And they'd pull and stop. So they were going out to the main road, and they would stop and block the sidewalk. Like, several cars did this, and they were right in my way. And one guy pulled out right in front of me, and then he could have hit me if I didn't slow down. Seriously, like, this is witchcraft. They're not paying attention, but this isn't normal for this to happen. Maybe, like, once every couple weeks, one person will do this or something. I don't know. It's just not that common. There was, like, 3 or 4 people this one day. And then I stop right in front of the guy's car, and then I look at him. I do this on purpose. When I was going to the gym, there was a woman, and she stopped. She just pulls all the way. I can't even get around. There's like hills on either side. And the other side is a road with cars going like 35, 45 mile per hour, and this is like the busy road. So, and then I go around her, go up a hill, and go around in a very inconvenient way. Then I stop, and I make sure to look at this woman. I make sure to look at her. And I'm not trying to pick a fight with anyone, but if I wasn't paying attention, like this, they need to pay attention when they're pulling out to the road. There are people that walk on the sidewalks, and there are people that ride bikes on the sidewalks. No, it's not all the time, but every day I see people walking on the sidewalks and riding bikes on the sidewalks. And they don't even look. They will run right into you. And this other guy, he seriously would have ran into me. But I slowed down just a little, and I stopped. And I think my bike was this far from his car. Of course, I could have inconvenienced myself more. I didn't. I didn't. I just slowed down a little bit so I could stop right next to his car because he would have pulled right into me. And then I looked right at the guy into his vehicle. Like, pay attention. You're going to end up breaking somebody's leg or running them over. And, that is going to raise your insurance rates. So but these people, they're just not looking. And there was so much more traffic than normal. But yeah, people like kind of moon me. They show me their plumber's crack. They got their breasts out in the gym. They don't do this. I think it's a humiliation thing. Or maybe, actually, at the prayer house, the one woman was like, I think you have a special relationship with this one woman. And then I go in and she's got her butt crack out. Like, okay, I already told you guys I'm not lesbian. I already told you guys I'm not lesbian. How many times do I have to say this? Okay? And I don't like serial killers. And I'm not going to date other men either. So, anyways, that is what I forgot to say happened yesterday. So, let's see. Today was not Soup Kitchen First. Today is Tuesday. So I've been invited to go to the addiction recovery meetings at the church. I go to those instead of the Soup Kitchen. They start at the same time. They're supposed to have food here. And I was originally invited to come here for the food. And then later they mentioned a Bible study. And then later they mentioned addiction and recovery. I wouldn't, see, this is what God did. I would not have showed up if I knew it was an addiction and recovery meeting. And most of the time they serve pork and I can't eat it. So, and this is like, the people in there have spirits and some of them are practicing witches. Just not all of them. Some of them are practicing witches and they know it. And they have been caught. They know. I don't know if they know I know, but I do know. I can see you guys. That's why I said when I went in at first, this is a coven. But the thing is, there are some people there that aren't. So that's why, like, I need to backtrack. I walked in, I was like, everyone here a witch? No. No, but there was a lot. There was a lot. And some of them, they seem kind of nice. Some of them don't. There's one woman in there, okay, and I'm hoping these people can repent and then come around. But she reminded me kind of how I have got an older stepsister, and just how she doesn't really like me, and just the way that she kind of, and this woman in there has got like the same spirits, because she acts like that with me, but she's worse. She's worse. And most of the people are not like that. Like they normally do, I thought there was like some hazing thing. They do something, they give me a cursed item, and then after that they don't do it again. So I mean, maybe, I don't know if they're aware of this or not. I really don't, but, and it could be jealousy. Because I talked to another woman that went there, and she said, like, that was happening. That everybody was getting, like, a drink or something, and she wasn't, and then she would notice weird stuff and witchcraft, and that was in the beginning. So that kind of gives me hope. That then, after they get you, then they stop. And I don't know if they're aware of it or not. Some are, though. So I went there, and of course, the food smelled really good, and so what they had was a crock pot, and it had, like, sausage. It had pork in it. I think it was meatballs and sausages. It was making me hungry. It smelled like protein I needed to eat, and it was pork. And then there was a pineapple cake, and there weren't any drinks. So I went to the other main church area, and there was a Keurig out there, and they had some pods ready. So I made a coffee. I came in, and I got like 4 pieces of the pineapple cake. I didn't complain. I wasn't rude to anyone. The woman sitting right next to me had made the food, and her spirits, whether she did it or whether the spirits in her did it, I don't know. But they try to get you. So I don't know if it's her or if it's the spirits. But like intentionally making food that was only pork so I couldn't eat it, and then bringing it in. And then something else trying to give me something which I know would have been cursed, but I just was like, no. So then I rejected that. So anyways, but there was some decent stuff in the meeting, and that's the thing. Not everybody there is. I don't. It's so weird. It's like they try to get me, and then they kind of don't after. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. there's one woman who really does not seem to like me, and then there's others that don't really like. They're just kind of neutral, and that's it's just not about me. So if I'm a believer, it's how people react to the Holy Spirit. It's not like my human body they're reacting to. It's God's presence, is the Holy Spirit in the believers that is being reacted to. So that's what I'm saying. Um, so there was actually some good information about addiction and stuff, and the woman who was speaking, like, she's had a tough run. I did see, like, she was doing some of this while she was leading the group and speaking, and she was doing, like, some of this, like, subtly, and then, like, she'd do other symbols and then kind of do the devil's horn. So I think, like, I believe this woman is a witch. I really do. But she's involved in the churches and does woke stuff in the churches, which isn't, it's not hurting anybody. And actually what she was talking about today wasn't that bad. It was actually pretty good. But we do have to agree to our life before we come here. I'm sorry. And I was feeling kind of sick today too, probably casted more spells on me. Yeah, so it's sad to hear her story. I will say there's a female, I believe a female narcissist at another church who is sabotaging their meal day, and I'm not mentioning the name of the church, I'm not mentioning the name of the woman, but I had my suspicions that one of her children had died because they did not take their medication. It was like for diabetes or something. And what I saw, the way this person was, I actually thought that she did it. Look, I saw that she was probably a wicked person. And of course there was pork in the food, but it's like she sabotaged it so no one would show up, and then there was another event the next day that she was going to bring all the food to and give to someone else. So she didn't even want to give any to me, and I was the only person that showed up. So this whole meal, I was the only person that showed up, and she didn't even want to give me any. She wanted to take all of it and bring it to this funeral the next day. And when I mentioned spiritual warfare, she was like, "Oh yeah," and she agreed right away. But I mean, I'm only saying that I think, I am suspicious that when she said her child died, and because they just decided they didn't want to take their medication anymore. And the circumstances, what I saw, I believe it is most likely that she killed her own child. And I also know that I was with a devil, and that he was involved in something that almost killed our daughter. And he has no remorse about this. And actually, the reason that my daughter is still alive is because she sold out. So, this is what I am saying. I was with a devil narcissist. He was a serpent narcissist. They can be different types of beings. And he might have just done it himself. I think maybe he got a plan from somewhere else, or he did this before. I'm just going to say he did it himself. It was a rare mosquito-borne illness that was given somehow to our daughter, and she just went into a coma, was in the hospital a long time. Now, she sold out, and when she came back, she just gets full-on possession and acts like a robot. And she attacks me. And it's like, now whatever is in her has allowed her to come back and be healthy, but now she can't be around me. She doesn't want to be around me. She's like an enemy. So this could have been like 100 years in the kingdom of darkness, in the marine kingdom, I don't know. But anyways, I'm thinking, if this woman did this to her son, and he did not sell out. Then he died. And I'm saying this because this is what these devils do. Uh, this is what mine did. Okay, so anyways, what am I even talking about? Yeah, so I went to that meeting. They covered some good information, and then there was a woman there kind of talking about something, um, and about relapsing, and then like concerned about drinking and doing drugs again, and it was easy for her because it's legal to go get, and then everyone was talking, and I managed to ask her a question, and then it got intercepted and cut off. I was going to tell her some advice. I was going to tell her some advice on how to handle it, and then I basically got cut off before I asked her a question. Um, so it wasn't the entire question. It was just like, you know, do you want to quit? Um, or something like that. And then when she answered that, then I was going to give her advice. And I started to, and then they all cut me off and did not let me give her the advice. So then I thought, you know, I'm not supposed to try too hard. I'm not supposed to push. I'm not supposed to try too hard. So they have blocked me here. God has allowed this. So it's not time yet. So then I just like kind of sat there and I didn't say anything. I just didn't. I'm like, okay, it's not time yet. See. Then after this, the people that had drove me to the meetings before, they didn't really talk to me. They went off on their own. But I remembered where the meetings were, and I wrote the addresses down. So, okay, there was still like 45 minutes before one of the first meeting. And so I went to Salvation Army to see like if they had, I was told they might be able to help me, and so I went there, and there was a woman there, and basically they had nothing I could use, and they didn't have anything to give. But they did schedule an appointment, so maybe they will. I don't know. Now I've got to go back there again. I think God renders judgment. I am in a situation where I need help, but I'm not a drug addict. You know, I'm not a prostitute. I'm not a gang member. I'm a good person that just got, like, attacked by devils for my entire life, to the point, and God also keeps me in this situation, so that I'm in there with these people, and I also need help. And we'll see, do they actually help me or not? And then God renders judgment. I believe this is what is happening. So it's like a mission. Then I'll go in and I'll see, are they going to do anything for me or not? Because there was another woman that said they did nothing for her. If they do nothing for me, then there's going to be some justice rendered there. The charities that don't really help people are going to be going away, and we'll have to make new ones. If they do help people, so I don't know. It wasn't like she wasn't unwilling, but you need to make an appointment and set up an account first and stuff, so we'll see. So then I went down there, you know, it like took maybe 20 minutes or so to go there, talk to the woman, come out, and then go back to where I was. Then I went to this one meeting. I biked there myself. It wasn't hard to find. What did we do in this meeting? I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember what we did in this meeting. It was like, well, there was two meetings. Oh, we made Valentine's cards. We made Valentine's cards for people in the retirement homes. So this was a good thing. And then it was getting close to like, it was getting close to 3 o'clock, and so then I didn't have time to make a third card. I made two. I thought they were pretty good. And then I went to put some candies in it because they were done. And then the woman that was there, I guess I wasn't supposed to do it myself. She was supposed to do it. And then, I was going to put them in because I had to go. And she was like, oh, I was going to do that. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. You know, I didn't mean to offend anybody. So then I'm like, okay, you can do it. I'm going to go. Then I biked myself to the other place. And here we made vision collage boards. But yeah, she acted like kind of like this. I guess, because she showed us, I've got lollipops in this thing, and I've got like cheese puffs in this, and we add them to the cards. Okay. Well, I didn't hear that she said she was going to do it. So then I had my two cards done, but since I was on a bike, I was going to leave earlier than everyone else. So then no one else was over there. Or she wasn't in the seat, so then I just went over and I got a couple lollipops and I was going to put them in. And then I got a couple cheese puffs and I sat them on the... And she's like, oh, I was going to do that at the end. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought, because she just said that this was for the cards. Like, okay, I'm sorry, but goodbye. I wasn't rude at all. But, that was inappropriate. Because if she did say and I was trying to listen, but it wasn't like no one was speaking that loudly. And if it was mentioned quickly, and I didn't hear that. And since I was leaving, I wanted to have the card done and not leave it incomplete. So, this is just something to where it was kind of rude. There was also like another woman there who was kind of being aggressive, who was being kind of aggressive. She says things that maybe I would be interested in commenting on that she said last time, like, "Oh, Trump's horrible," and like they're getting rid of Roe versus Wade. I can't believe it. And then they just like all this, and I didn't say anything to any of these comments. They just say stuff that would trigger. It doesn't trigger me. Okay, I didn't take the bait on any of it. But this time she's like, "I can't believe it. Trump is still there. They're gonna come pick me up," and then and she complained about Trump a lot. And then I'm like, but it is good that he's getting rid of. They're getting rid of a lot. I not said him. I said they are getting rid of a lot of these drugs though, and keeping them coming in, because this is a recovery meeting for a lot of alcohol and drug addicts here. So they're getting rid of a lot of these drugs. And then the other guy's like in human trafficking too. I said, yeah, that's good. I know, like the economy's. I didn't say anything else, but like this administration is really destroying like a lot of the drug supply that has been flooding this country. And the whole point of these meetings is people that are recovering from drugs. So I'm like, well, that's good. Anyways, I didn't take the bait on anything else. I'm not there to have a debate about abortion. They're like, abortion, about this, that, all these things that I have opinions on. Then they like this woman comes in and they know what I have opinions on, and then she talks and she complains about all of them, but then like the opposite of what I believe. And it's like I can clearly see what this is. And also, the woman who I think is a witch, okay, that doesn't like me, would talk to the man from the soup kitchen who volunteers there, and they talk about things that would interest me, or things that I have an opinion on, or things I would want to give some advice. And I didn't take the bait on that. And this woman kept complaining about Trump, and this time I did. I said something about, well, it's good they're getting rid of a lot of they're stopping a lot of the drugs from coming in. So, well, that's good. It's just pointing something good out. Um, and then someone else said about on the human trafficking, like, yeah. So, like, I'm not there to debate, but, like, that's the whole purpose of these meetings. And then, but I know it's a setup. It's like, so that I do something wrong, or I just don't look as good. I get into an argument, or I talk to people and they don't agree with me, I'm not taking that bait, but everyone can agree it's good to stop drugs from coming into the United States. That's something, like, it's not even political. I mean, it kind of is, but it's not really. Then I went to the other meeting. It's so close. And found this location. They had big poster boards, and we made, like, vision collages. I wasn't really sure, but mine was about 2026 and the things that I want to see, like, that year. And so I put a lot of travel, and I got a dog on there. I got some coffee on there. I put a thing that said family on it, because right now I have none, I don't think. So I put that on there. But like there was one thing that said family. There was like 3 or 4 little pictures of coffee, and there was a bunch of pictures of travel. I had a plane, and then something was like. Because I remember this man told me the other day, is that destined meeting to tell me about Utah and Wyoming. And I'm thinking, I'm going to put travel on here. And I put victory on there, and I don't remember. But I couldn't bring it back on a bicycle. So they hung it up on the wall, and then they liked it, so that's good. So we get to make art projects, so if somebody enjoys it, that's good. And other people made theirs too. I looked at them a little bit, but most of them were like sayings. Like, there were books that had, like, motivational sayings and things on them, or, like, some people chose, like, money or other things, and there's one woman there, and a lot of these people are still on the drugs, they're trying to quit, but half the people in there were on drugs, like, and they weren't doing well, but some were doing better, and one woman in there, was engaged, and she was going to be married. She was real happy about that, so maybe that will help her quit, but, I don't know what I don't know what the answer is unless they get taken to, like, treatment centers, and then, there's certain, procedures that can get rid of the addiction, and then if there's no more drugs available, that would fix it. Because what I'm seeing is that there's a lot of places that want to help people, but they're limited in what they can do. I mean, I don't know, because I just go to these meetings. Or actually, when I went to the church, the Bible study, and this is where I say there's a lot of witches there, but not all of them are. I don't know. Maybe they're just people, and they still have some spirits of addiction. There's a woman I was talking to today, and she was pretty nice. She was pretty nice at the end, and I said, and because this is supposed to be a recovery meeting, and I said, I'm not even recovered. I said my situation is like I have done drugs and alcohol a long time ago, and I quit. I wasn't, I could just stop doing those, but I got a different situation to where like I had a spell cast on me, and I something needs to happen for that spell to be broken. And so I'm not even recovered, but God has sent me here. And I told that woman, and she's like, "Oh, you should talk to this one woman. Like she used to be involved in the dark arts." And I'm like, "Oh yeah." And then she was leaving, and she called her over, and she's like, "Oh yeah," and she told her that I was being bothered by witchcraft, and then she was kind of concerned, and then she's like, "Oh," and then she left, because probably she might be involved in some of these things, or actually, I don't know. This woman actually seemed kind of nice, but I don't know. She's probably still trying to get me. I don't know, but she actually seemed pretty nice. But I think that maybe she's still dabbling in witchcraft, and that's why she didn't want me to know that. But I already know. I can see it. I know the one woman leading this and the other woman. I know they're witches, okay? And they say they're not. They are. But I don't know. They do nice things, but it's got a spell on it. And, maybe they'll come around. I don't know why I just keep going here and they try to get me every day. I don't know what's going on. But I'm going into this community where it's either addicts or it seems that there's witches and warlocks. Like most of the people surrounding these recovering addicts, maybe I'm answering this myself now. Like maybe God is inspiring me the answer. Most of the people around these recovering addicts are witches. And so maybe that's why they're having trouble quitting if witchcraft is being used against them. I don't know. They probably want to keep them under control. And so for someone like me to get in there, and I'm not, there's other good people too. I've seen maybe half the people in these groups are witches and half are good people. I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe that's why God's sending me in, because I've been taught certain spiritual warfare techniques, but they're not going to work if they are practicing black magic. Then it's not going to work. I don't know what to do. Okay, anyways, what's going on here? Oh, I did get to mention something. Oh, another woman there mentioned something about she used to play clarinet. Someone else, they wanted to play these instruments now. And then the one man I mentioned about playing guitar was not there this week. So maybe there's got to be some place that we can play instruments. So, of course, the woman who had made the food that had pork in it, she's got something looks like maybe not a breathing machine, but something like a respirator. So her health isn't good, and it's been confirmed to me that pork will cause you to have bad health. And there are spirits, evil spirits in pork. Look how the pork behaves, but also disease, sickness, what they call pathogens are in the pork. These are spirits. You also got laziness, gluttony, selfishness, filthiness. Just look at how a pig behaves. Gluttony. You know what I'm saying. That these are the types of evil spirits. Why would these evil spirits be in a pig? So they're not the worst evil spirits. The evil spirits Jesus said could possess the swine were ones that were too lazy to go to the water themselves. This is something you might not hear. So there's a lot of spirits, they would just whoosh, and they're gone, and then they go right back in the marine kingdom. These particular spirits were too lazy, so they asked Jesus if they could get in the swine, and then the swine would take them to the water. Okay, that's the marine kingdom. So these are lazy spirits that don't even want to walk too far when they're told to go. Like, so that's the type of spirits that are in these pigs. And they're not going to go in the wild pigs, like, because nobody's going to eat them. They can't really possess humans. But the domesticated ones that humans will eat and they can transfer to. So think about what type of spirit wouldn't just go to the water on its own. That would be too much. It'd be like a lazy spirit, a procrastinating spirit, a selfish spirit, like something like a swine, and bad health too. A sickly, disease-ridden spirit would not want to make it to the marine kingdom on its own. It would like a ride. um, that is a bit of genius there. Let's see. Man, I don't even know. I'm going to end up forgetting something. Okay, so I didn't go to the soup kitchen for lunch, and then I biked from this recovery meeting straight to the soup kitchen. And there was less than 10 minutes until it started, and it was several blocks away, and there was people going the opposite direction. So they knew I wasn't there for lunch. There was the spotter for the narcissist, who I have been nice to many times, and he's also being abused. And then there was a man who I hadn't seen do anything wrong to me, and, he seems like he could be a nice guy. He's got some health issue or something where he walks with a cane. They were both, like, far away from the soup kitchen shortly before it was supposed to start. And then as I was going towards the soup kitchen, I was coming from a different direction, then he saw me. So maybe he was looking out to see if I was going. But anyways, when I went to the soup kitchen, I saw a bike man's bike was on the rack. And then I just like zipped in and I put my bike his bike that I'm borrowing, a few slots down. And then the key was over on the side, like over there. And then he saw me and kind of came over and he's like, oh, how are you doing? And I'm like, what? He's like, hi. And I said, I'm doing good. And then I kept locking my bike up. I was not afraid of him at all. This is kind of good. This is kind of cool here. And then I let's see, what was I doing? Yeah, I put the bike in the slot. And then as soon as I zipped in, he was like, oh, how are you doing? Like, how are you doing? And they're like, what? I'm like, oh, good. I'm doing good. And then I look forward, and then I got my bike lock, and I went to the wheel to lock it. And he went to the other side, and, like, asked something else. And then I just looked at him, and I said, I don't even know what he said or what I said. I just said it, like, with no fear, with complete confidence. And then I went in. But he was kind of standing there, like he didn't know what to do. He actually kind of dumbfounded. He kind of acts like one of the beta males, and then he's got like this murder spirit that rewards him. This is wild. I know all about serial killers now. This is cool. Like, it wasn't the most fun in the beginning, but now, because it's so weird. Like when we were standing, I was like taller than him, looking at him, no fear. Answered his question, and he was like, felt like maybe talked a little bit like a beta and had less power or something. But he wasn't afraid either. But he wasn't in control or anything, and he's not able to heal himself or do anything. That comes when he kills somebody, or the demon gets to kill somebody, and then they reward him with magical powers. Anyways, I was not afraid. I was not afraid at all. I just biked in. And then I answered a question, and then, I went in. And he didn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to do. If he's going to try to come get me again, go ahead, whatever. God's not going to let you do it. But anyways, it was just very strange. Because maybe, like, when I went to, because they have the tracker on the bike, when I went to the free breakfast, and it was at the church, then he had a giant, like, a big guy that he had hired to kill me or tie me up or something. And then as I was leaving, then he was coming to my house and then looked over. I could tell because I saw the way he looked at me. They didn't know. I forgot about it too, because there were some of the witches and warlocks, okay, that are at the soup kitchen. They stayed until the end, and they asked, "What are you going to do tomorrow?" And I said, maybe I'll just stay at home, or maybe I'll go to the park or something, because it's Sabbath. I forgot there was a free breakfast lunch thing. I forgot, so I didn't tell him. And so then when I went, I'm like, oh, I remembered it when I got home. And then I went. And so they were surprised, because like he was like a block or so away from my house, and I was leaving. So I don't know what's going on there, but what am I talking? Like, and then he came in like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes later. Maybe it was like 10 minutes. Maybe it was 15 minutes later. I don't know. So they were following my tracker. So he probably called him or something, or told him like she was leaving. Where's she going? They look and see where the tracking says it is. And then he goes to the church where it says free lunch. And then goes in. And then he sits at the table that's kind of close to mine. There's an empty table close to mine. He sits there kind of like facing me, but not. He's not like facing directly at me. He's just a little bit like, so if I'm over here, but still, he'd be able to see me, but I'm not in his direct line of sight. And then he kind of sat near me at the soup kitchen after all. I didn't know if he was trying to scare me or to see if I was afraid. And then this day, then he comes at the side, and every time somebody asks me how I'm doing, I say good. Because if I don't, it won't be good. That's what I said. Anytime someone asks me, I'm going to say good. I was not afraid. And then I was like taller than him looking down. But what's funny is he's actually a lot taller than me. But God does something so where like my spirit is more powerful than his. So when we stand right across, I was looking down at him. Let's see. Yeah, this other, the one woman who was concerned about relapse, she showed up at the other recovery meeting, and apparently she had been in a couple houses, and she said there's witchcraft being used against her, and people were like acted like they didn't really like her, maybe smearing her, and she got kicked out of one of these recovery facilities. I don't know. I don't really know. But I guess she looks like she has it together, so maybe there's some jealousy there. But they all like her now, so maybe that's just, a hazing thing. See, they also asked during this meeting about what are your highs and lows again, and when they came to me, I said there's so much going on right now that I don't know I can answer this. One other person passed. I couldn't really, like, what do you want me to say? There are people trying to kill me this week? I have said this to other people, but this meeting is not the place. This meeting is not the place. If I give them any information, then they'll use it as fuel to try to get me or to ruin anything that's happening, so. So I'm not going to say my highs or lows. If I tell them my highs, then they will try to ruin them. If I tell them my lows, they will try to strengthen them. Anyways, as I was leaving the soup kitchen, see, I forgot stuff again. As I was leaving the soup kitchen, there was actually a train stop. There's normally not a train stopped. So right behind the road the soup kitchen is on, or railroad tracks. And there's normally not a train stop there. Today there was. And the number on the side of, so there was 4 numbers on the side of the train. One of those was a 98, which is a 17. 9 plus 8 is 17. One of those is a 241. 4 plus 2 plus 1 is a 7. So when I saw that 17, it was meant to happen. I had when I left, there was like 10 minutes when the soup kitchen closed. They already gave all the food away. And I was leaving, I saw the man who did try to fake hit on me, and then he came in and talked with me and the other man, like, the other day. And I saw him standing there, and he was like 2 blocks from the soup kitchen. And I stopped, and I said, "What are you doing here?" And he said, "I'm trying to go to the soup kitchen." I said, "It's closed." And says he wondered how he was going to eat. And I had a bag of snacks with like a Pop-Tart and like some little cookies and a juice box, and I had a banana. I brought back from the soup kitchen. I said, here, let me give you this. And he's like, no, I couldn't. You like a banana? He's like, yeah. And I said, oh, give me. And he's like, I'm going to take, you need to eat. And I said, no. I said, God provide for me. And I got the bag out and I gave it to him. And he was really happy because he didn't have any food to eat. So it's like it was in there for him to eat, I guess. Oh, here's more on this page. Apparently the manager of the soup kitchen was not there today. The woman, I guess she does the sermons when he's not there. So I hadn't been seeing the manager so much recently. I didn't really see him the day before. Maybe he was in there. Yeah, maybe he was in there half the day. Something's going on where she asked us to pray for him. So something's going on. I don't know. Like, I think he tried to get me out, but he did not want things to go this far, and he might be getting in trouble with the law. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Maybe he's getting in trouble because he was involved. They were involved, like, because this woman that was, like, the second in command, she was stopping the spotter. She's, like, she brought him into the office and was telling people to not mess with the bike or something. I'm just saying. Let's see. But she mentioned he was not there, and she had a good message. It was Proverbs 12:21. If you look for something good, you'll get favor. If you look for evil, it will find you, something like that. And she said, do good. And that was a good message. So that's strange, as the manager there wasn't there. So I think he didn't want me there, but he doesn't want me to be killed. That's what I'm going to say. Like, and maybe he was very surprised. I'm just guessing. Maybe he was surprised with how far things went. But they don't even really realize the reason why there are so many hits on my life. So, Bike Man was invited. So there was a bunch of witches and warlocks that go to the soup kitchen because the devil does not take care of his own. And so they will try to curse me or do something or get me to go on a date. They always try. And they fail. And then they had to step up their game. And then they brought in a serial killer. And then that failed. That was kind of cool. They were sitting there at the table right next to it, and they watched me not afraid. And then he said his crazy stuff, and he said, they tell me I shouldn't say that. And I said, I think you should tell everybody. And then I just stood up. I said, this is where I'm going. And then I left. That was pretty cool. But anyways, so then they brought him in. And the serial killer invited me to the library. He invited me there and then left. And he had already told me his address. So basically he invited me there. And then I looked around. I didn't see him. His bike was out front. So then I went to the line. I'm like, I'll go ahead and get a card. So while I was in the line getting a card, he came up to me. He was like, blah, blah, blah. He said, this was real words, not gibberish. But he said something real fast. I couldn't tell what he said. And then he left. I'm like, okay. So after I get my card, I look around. Like, where did he go? He's gone. And I go all the way around this and look around. He's gone. So then I eventually just leave and go home. This was his plan anyways. And then he said, I told you what I was doing. No. He said something real fast and like where you couldn't understand, and then went. So anyways, I went to the library because he brought me to the library. He was going to, so the bike I am using now, he was going to give to me. I said, no, I'll give it back. I'm going to borrow it. Okay. And then there was a bunch of people coming out and spying, and like while we were talking, he's like, I'll sell it to you for $7.50. $7.50. And he said, I don't need the money right now. Okay. Like, okay. And then there was criminals that would come out of the soup kitchen and watch and listen. And so then it made sense when he said, we'll do this at the library later. It'll be better. Because there was like with a criminal guy coming out, and they would come out and they would listen. And so it looked like he wasn't a bad, because this is a weird thing. Because maybe they don't know who's who. They would come out and spy. Like these enemies of mine would come out and spy and like see what's going on, and then he would start to talk crazy when they came out, and so it looked like a cover. And then so then it made sense to go to the library so it wouldn't look like he was trying to help me. But anyways, that was that was for a different reason. He actually did not bring me there to help me. Um, he did not bring me there to help me. It was another location where he could try to get me, and because there was more spying eyes maybe at the soup kitchen. And the first day, I actually went into the library and used their services, because I got the card one day and left. Then I came in, walked around, and then the medicine man said, "I'll see you tomorrow." Then I left. Okay. Then, the third time I came in, I actually went up and I used the computer. So I actually stayed in there for a while and did something. And then I canceled all the demonic assignments at the library. And I destroyed, not me, God did this, okay? I just requested it. I just like prayed this to God, okay? God did it. Destroyed the demonic altars on the library properties. And then, like, within a couple minutes of me doing this, the internet went down. And the copy machine stopped working. And people were leaving the library, and they were angry. And this one woman was trying to do something with the copy machine. She was cussing. She is like a witch then, because the way she was behaving. She just kept cussing and acting real rude. So she was for the other team. Okay, her assignment was canceled. And the people on the computer, their assignments are canceled. I don't know. Then they had to do something like the network had to be rebooted. So if they had something going on with those computers there, it was wiped out. And so it was the next day, this head witch had a stack of money in her hand, sending people after me. Because they had a lot of operations going on at the library. They could use the internet. They could print files. They could research. It was a warm place where they can go during the day. Yeah, you can rent laptops there. Like, they do their business there. And there's conference rooms and things. And so that was all shut down. And that's why they're sending people. And that's because Bike Man invited me to the library. So if the witches and warlocks at the soup kitchen didn't send a serial killer to get me when they couldn't, well, then the serial killer would not have invited me to the library so that he could get me more. He could kill me easier if we met at a different location. But what happened is that I just shut down all of the satanic operations going down at the library, and now they're trying to kill me. But I think that I don't know. I think some of them already got caught. I think a lot of them already got caught. I don't know. But yet the serial killer is still walking around, so I don't know what's going on with that. But it's weird. As I said, he's taller than me, but actually, I'm like getting taller and he's getting shorter. Like when we look at each other. But then if we were to get on a bike or something, then obviously I would need the seat lowered and he would raise. It doesn't make sense. It's so wild. Anyways, it's late. This is my journal entry for today, is that I had no fear. But this is not a situation that you want to be in. It's not. But I am glad that he is still trying to get me. I actually am, because he would have killed someone else that does not know the rules, has not been trained by God. Another person would have been killed. I see. Now God has educated me on everything he does, how he lives, how he makes his money, how he doesn't get caught, how he gets people, like what the spiritual laws are. God has shown me all of it. And also how they go and look and make sure no one's, like all of it. It showed all of it to me. And then, and had he went over and there's another thing, had he fixed, I know how to fix a vehicle. No, you don't. It's just they lie and say that in order to, come over and kill you. I'm not stupid. I said, and I kept saying, every time I let somebody in here, then they just break my house. And nobody wants to help me. So I brought him over. He had a wire on. And I said, you see these dogs right here? If somebody tried to go in my house, like, they would probably defend me. And then he's like, oh yeah, they probably would. And my dog barked at him too. It was funny. So they basically just got a warning to know, you don't break into my house. You see that dog right there? That big dog right there? Okay, I showed him that dog through the fence. He didn't go inside the fence. He was just in the back yard, not in the house, not on the other side of the fence. I'm like, you see my dogs right here? That's a hunting dog. And I said, that is a St. Bernard pit bull right there. And then this is all wiretapped and sent back. So they don't want to come into my house now. I'm just gonna. They don't want to come into my house. Actually, they'll probably come. They probably tried to come and shoot me or something, but that was blocked. I don't know. There's a bunch of cops here, like not at my house, but they'd zip down the road, like a whole bunch of them the other night. So they were probably trying to take me out then. God won't allow it. Come on, keep trying. See what happens. Um, like I used to be strong and all that. I'm middle aged now. Well, I'm not middle aged. I'm gonna live forever. I'm gonna live for 1,000 years and then keep living. So, but I'm just saying, like, I'm in my 40s. I'm not really like working out or anything. Like, I'm able to do things, but this is what God wants. God doesn't want me to be like a bodybuilder and like, go into the gun range every weekend, because God gets the glory, not me. I am not getting the glory for any of this. Like, I've got guns in my house. I could put them I could sleep with them under my pillow at night. I'm not. I'm going to do nothing, because God is going to provide the victory. God is going to defeat the enemy. And it can't look like I tried too hard, and it can't look like I'm too strong. Because then there's maybe a chance that it wasn't just God that did it. So it's what I'm saying, like. Anyways, that's all. I wonder how this music class will go tomorrow. I think I'll try to go to the gym, the music class. The man who was debating with me the last couple of days wasn't there for dinner. I don't know if he was there for lunch or not. He might have went. I wasn't there, so he left. I don't know. But I think that was destined too. He was probably sent to get information. He was either good or bad. He was either sent to like keep me at the soup kitchen while the gang members were there and then wait him out until they left. Or he was there to get information on me and send it back to the kingdom of darkness. So I just educate them about religion and God. So I'm kind of thinking that was it. I'm kind of thinking, because the way he didn't like when this other man that wasn't as intelligent as him was talking too. And he was kind of rude about it. Like condescending a little, okay? And so then I'm thinking probably he was getting information on me to give to the other side. But God allowed this because it ultimately helped me, and it helps them. It teaches them things they didn't think about. I'm giving them information too. Like I told him that this female witch tells all the men what to do. It's like the women have the men do their dirty work. And I said this, yeah, if you got a wire, that's going right back to them, and they're going to hear it, and they might realize, wait a minute, that's true. We're the ones going to prison and getting killed. Yeah, I did say that, but God is allowing this because I'm telling them theological truths. And things like I have sat and pondered, and I prayed for wisdom. God has given me wisdom. And I'm telling it to this man, and he's like, I don't even say debating, because not really. Like, he'll say a few things. He's asking me questions, and then I answer it. And it's got it all recorded, sends it back to them. But God allows this because I'm waiting out the guys sent to kill me, or what. I don't know whether they were going to kill me there or not. But then they have to leave eventually, and then we're still talking. But then, he's talking to me, trying to get information on me. But the information I give them is information they're going to listen to and they're going to study. Because they're like, how is she still alive? How do we get her? So then they get all this information. Or like, what's something she says we don't like? So we can be angry. Just all these different angles. Like, they want me to say something racist, or they want me to say something stupid, or they want to know what my secret powers are, how I'm still alive. And the information I tell is stuff like that is good. I like to tell people. And normally they don't care. But now, if they're wiretapping and they're trying to get secret information on how to stop me, they're actually going to pay attention to what I say. This is amazing. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching.